Cloud-based technologies have some advantages over running an application on premises. One of those advantages, quite often, is elasticity, the ability to rapidly scale up infrastructure, capacity, other important aspects of an application with minimal effort and without having to go out and buy new hardware. When the pandemic hit, it placed tremendous strain on disease management systems, public health systems. But as we began to see the impact of the pandemic on the economy and on employment, it put a tremendous strain on unemployment systems. And there were a number of stories of states that struggled to keep their systems running with the never before seen load on these systems. Cloud-based systems that are multi-tenant, that are SaaS, that can scale to absorb that load are the way that governments need to be moving. And when we also look at the types of tools that can meet the needs of citizens at peak capacity, unforeseen peak capacity, we also need AI-based tools that can begin to step in and take some of the load off of government employees and teams who are naturally going to be very overworked during these periods. We saw chatbots get stood up very quickly that could answer questions about COVID-19, and in some cases, about things like potential benefit systems like unemployment. We also recognize that there are certain types of bad actors that may show up to try and take advantage of situations where government is at this peak need. And one of the things we saw early in the pandemic was this focus on unemployment, expanded benefits, so that those were just struggling to keep their heads above water as their jobs were being affected could get the funding they needed to survive. And when unemployment systems were modified to take these benefits as they were being hit from every side by millions of individuals, we saw some states struggle with potential fraud. Now, because Microsoft works with so many commercial entities with our Dynamics 365 products, we had built a fraud-based application that could sit at the intake process for unemployment claims. And we worked with several states to quickly integrate that cloud-based technology so that states could benefit from a large set of AI-based models to identify potentially fraudulent claims and stop those without delaying significantly other types of claims that were coming through the system. So we were able to use cloud-based technologies to benefit from the scale that cloud provides. We were able to reduce the risk of fraud to governments and make sure that citizens could get paid more quickly. That's one of those things that perhaps governments didn't really think about in advance about what are the types of emergency situations that may occur and how do we prevent against them at scale at a moment's notice. I used to work in government and I worked for a mayor that said, we don't get to choose the issues that walk into City Hall in the morning. And I think the pandemic has proven to be one of those examples. We don't know if we're going to face a pandemic, a natural disaster, some other type of unforeseen circumstance, but government needs to be resilient and ready to respond in those situations. And these cloud-based technologies that can either be rapidly deployed, expanded, or rolled out are going to be part of the answer that government should have at their ready going forward.